612 ABC Brisbane.
Have you ever wondered what happens to a crime scene after police have finished their investigations? If it involved death or drugs, chances are that the crime scene will need to be cleaned up. In the movie, in 2008, Sunshine Cleaning, two sisters set up a crime cleaning business, not realising that it's a little bit more complicated than general cleaning. Well, it turns out there's a similar business now here in Brisbane. 612 Breakfast reporter Anne O'Keefe this morning takes you on the job.
3 people will appear in court today, charged over an illegal drug lab in Brisbane's west. Police say they discovered the lab.
According to former detective Mark Ellis, Queensland is the hub of methamphetamine production. So it's not surprising that a lot of the work his crime and trauma cleaning business does involves illicit drug labs. 70% are found in residential areas. Many are rental properties like the one in the news last year. It's since been cleaned. Let's go inside. So we've just entered what is a normal suburban house that you could find anywhere in Brisbane. What areas traditionally would people be using to have these drug labs in?
The main area is obviously the kitchen. Anywhere where there's water and power and heat is crucial. So a lot of the cooking is done in the kitchen areas. A lot of the breaking down of drugs and a lot of the reactions are done in other rooms such as bathrooms and laundries. But the main area for the cooking is actually done in the kitchen.
Well, let's go and have a look at the kitchen in this house and see. Oh, see, that just looks like the kitchen in my house.
Where the stove is over there, you'll find a lot of people are cooking things, and it goes up through the extractor fan, and of course the chemicals often appear on the roof. What we often find in drug labs is we find purple stains on the roof. Now that's iodine. That in itself takes certain chemicals to remove. Methamphetamine that falls on the floor might not be so dangerous for you and I who are 5 foot above the floor or 6 foot above the floor, but for a small child who's crawling around the floor, it's extremely dangerous. They're inhaling methamphetamine remnants. You can walk into a normal kitchen and not know anything, yet I'll see a small coating over a light bulb. I'll see maybe a small stain on the roof that I'll know what that's from, maybe a burn mark on the cooktop, which I know is hydrochloric acid or some other even more vicious acid, and I can tell almost immediately if there's been a drug lab. Having said that, I don't rely on my visual techniques. We get the meth tests out and we test everywhere.
Well, let's go and have a look at the other main room in the house, I think, that traditionally is used, and that is the bathroom. Now, in this house, it's on a different floor. So this is our upstairs bathroom, and again, it looks just like one that you and I would have at home. We've got our sink and bench top, our big mirror, the bath, and then the shower. So what takes place traditionally in the bathroom, and how much is left behind?
Look, this is a very normal bathroom that you'd find in any suburban house. This is like a kid's bathroom, that very similar to the ones that my kids use. What they often do in places like this is they use the bathtub and the sink to break down chemicals that they need. In this case, it was phosphorus. We know where these particles can go. As you can see, we've removed things like the extractor fan here and reached inside the extractor fan and cleaned right up as high as we could get to. A lot of the traditional cleaners would just clean the surface. We would clean sort of a bit more underneath. We don't use the same chemicals. In fact, in this sort of area, we still use traditional cleaning methods, but we just do it probably more thoroughly because we know what's around the place. What I hope doesn't happen is that someone gets sick and dies and it's directly attributed to a meth lab house that wasn't cleaned properly, because first of all, that's a tragic story, but second of all of this can be avoided. If you understand the drugs and how they're made and the chemical procedures, and you can understand how you can remove them, then there's no need for it. We made this place, for example, completely 100% safe. I'm happy to have my kids in here and cook on that cooktop, and I'm happy to lick the floors if I had to. I'm completely confident in what we do, whereas when we first came in here, we came in completely in personal protection gear with masks, goggles, gloves, boots, and full kit.
Sunshine Cleaning.
Yes, thought we put a positive spin on things. We are doing some post-mortem kind of specialized cleanup stuff, and we had this really difficult... really smelly job where this woman had died, and she had been there for a while, and...
So decomp. Follow me. You have your general purpose cleaners, your extraction cleaners, your odor control, disinfectants, stain removers, and shampoos. Steamers, buffers, foggers, that kind of stuff's right here for rent or purchase. And quick absorbing sawdust. It's good for vomit.
Whether it's a a tragic trauma scene or a meth lab, you're dealing with biochemicals. You're dealing with, whether it be blood or methamphetamine or acids, you're dealing with something that physically affects other human beings around you. So all of those products and byproducts have to be removed effectively. And that doesn't mean just covered up. You've got to take away the things that you can't see, the hazards that are unseen. And that's crucial to make sure that the next people in there are safe and sound.
If you were going to live at a former scene of crime, you'd want to know it had been cleaned properly. Remediating drug labs is dangerous for general cleaners too. In the US, houses that have been used as meth labs must be declared. But in Australia, clandestine drug laboratory remediation guidelines have only just been introduced.
Here in Australia, we find it hard to get the police to even tell us when there's been a place. And this is a serious health risk. It should be public knowledge. It has to be public knowledge. People have to know what they're walking into, what they're exposing their kids to. And we require legislative change. I would like to see changes in the way the cleaning is done, and I would like some government person to come and test my cleaning methods and test other people's cleaning methods just to make sure that they're up to standard.
Actually, I own my own business. It's a biohazard removal and crime scene cleanup service.
You like doing it?
Yeah, I do. We come into people's lives when they have experienced something profound and sad. They've lost somebody. And in some small way, we help.
The important thing for us is to make sure that every last remnant is gone, because the people who are moving back in, family members and things, they don't want to be reminded any more about it than they have to be. And especially in tragic situations like murders and suicides. For us to come in and make sure that the house is at least clean and tidy for them to move in is very important, because it's very important for them psychologically. And we've got to come in and we've got to show compassion and we've got to show feeling as well. We've got to be in and out as quick as possible and still do a good job so that they can get on with their normal lives and return to their normal lives, which often isn't easy to do.
So there you are. You might have seen the movie Sunshine Cleaning come out 3 years ago, and you might have never realised that there is such a business here in southeast Queensland, cleaning up crime scenes. The reporter was Anna.